If you're somebody who hasn't really paid attention to your health for most of your life and you feel kind of crummy and you're like, I want to do something. How do I do it? Which diet do I take? What supplement should I take? What should I cut out of my life? What I say is that what you got to realize is that the body's hardwired with these defenses, shields up. What are the things that take your shields down? What are the things that turn off the smoke alarm in your house, that unlock the doors? The bioactives and does amazing things to your metabolism, to your blood vessels, the lower inflammation, and just tip the odds in your favor towards longevity with a simple cup of in the morning. Something that was surprising to us. In the lab, when we did this, used extracted from oats, injected into a wound. We also discovered that the wound that healed was
over 65 and worried about cancer? One bite of the wrong meat tonight could quietly fuel tumor growth tomorrow. Stay right here. Because in the next 10 seconds, we're naming the most common harmless sandwich meat that scientists now rank alongside cigarettes for causing cancer. And we'll show you the safer swaps. If you're new, Dr. William Li is a world-famous physician-scientist. He's published groundbreaking research and empowered thousands of people to fight disease through simple dietary shifts. Today, you're getting his latest insights so you can take protective action tonight. In the next few minutes, you'll discover 4 meats seniors must avoid, plus 4 powerful protein swaps that can starve tumors, soothe inflammation, and rebuild muscle strength. And every 30 seconds, I'll hand you another practical tip. Optimal cooking temperatures, exact portion sizes, even grocery aisle tricks, so you can stay one step ahead of cancer. We'll count down from meat number 4 down to number 1, and each bad meat will be immediately followed by Dr. Li's safer, smarter alternative. Pay close attention, because missing even one of these swaps could mean harsher treatments down the road or a higher risk of recurrence. Worst meat number 4, processed deli slices, ham, bologna, salami.
Tell you what we know as it relates to longevity. So first of all, I try to break it down really simply. Our body is like your car. When you put our food is our fuel. When you go to the filling station, you get a choice. You're going to actually put in, like, you got 4 different kinds of fuel you could put in. All right. If you put in good quality fuel, your car is going to drive better. Over the long haul, it's going to drive better. Every now and then you put in some crummy, cheap fuel. It's all right. You're not going to notice. But if you do that day in and day out, you're going to notice it for sure. All right. So you put something good into your body's going to respond really well. You put something bad in your body's also going to respond accordingly in a negative way. So simply, in simplest terms, that's actually what the difference is between ultra processed, which isn't really good for you, and your body's going to revolt. It's going to trash your body from the inside out in ways, some ways we know, and other ways we don't even know yet. By the way, the whole conversation about ultra plastics or microplastics, all right? Hey, you know what? If you ever see like the amount of machinery and plastic that has to, the machines that the processed food has to go through, who knows how much microplastics are actually found in ultra processed foods.
It's like leaching through,
That remains to be seen, And so what I say is that the least amount of processing you can have for your food, the more you can be assured that it's going to be a quality food that you're actually going to put in your body, and your body will react well. So what's going on when you feed your food?
Everybody tries to pin things on saturated fats. And there's a controversy now about saturated fats. Some people say they're not necessarily as bad as, you don't want to demonize them. They play their role as well. I think that part of the issue about a heavy meat diet is really the overage of eating meat. And by the way, that meat is treated in factory farming. Also doesn't actually help the quality of the meat, the antibiotic-laced foods, meats, the way they're treated. And because some animals are actually fattened up with steroids and other, artificial things, you're not really getting a pure food. You're getting a doctored food in a way that's not so good for you. We do know, by the way, that eating preserved meats, which I didn't put on my list, but not just red meat, but preserved meats, the deli meats, the things that we probably all grew up with, as kids, you get a piece of bologna, you put it between 2 pieces of white bread and put some, artificial mayonnaise on. Everybody has had that experience, right? At least in this country, that kind of experience. And we know that artificial processed meats are actually rated by the World Health Organization as a carcinogen. And all the data shows that people who eat way a lot of processed meats. I'm not talking about the naturally processed meats, like the salamis and things hanging in the air in Italy or Sardinia. I'm talking about the mass-produced stuff that you get at the grocery store.
You might think those lunchtime ham sandwiches or quick slices of salami are harmless, but these processed deli meats hide a serious risk, especially if you're 65 or older. These meats are typically cured with nitrates, chemical preservatives that transform into dangerous N-nitroso compounds inside your body. The World Health Organization classifies these compounds as Group 1 carcinogens, placing them alongside tobacco smoke and asbestos in terms of cancer risk. Researchers at Harvard emphasize the severity, highlighting that daily intake significantly raises cancer dangers. But there's an even deeper risk that targets seniors specifically. By age 65, your intestinal lining has become thinner and more vulnerable. It heals slowly, meaning it's less equipped to protect you from toxins and carcinogens. A Harvard nutritional study confirms that consuming just 2 slices, about 50 grams of processed deli meat per day, can raise your colorectal cancer risk by as much as 18%. Imagine dealing with the side effects of chemotherapy, nausea, fatigue, and hair loss, on top of existing challenges like arthritis pain, limited mobility, or chronic inflammation. This isn't a scare tactic. It's the reality Dr. Lee warns about, based on extensive medical evidence. Yet don't panic. There's a simple solution that allows you to keep your lunch routine while dramatically cutting cancer risk. In the next 10 seconds, you'll learn exactly how to choose a safer alternative that keeps your meal both convenient and tasty. Safe swap number 4. Nitrate-free skinless turkey breast. Next time you visit your deli counter, ask specifically for oven-roasted nitrate-free turkey breast. Grocery stores increasingly stock this safer variety, clearly labeled as having no added nitrites or nitrates. Here's a simple cooking tip. Gently heat turkey slices to exactly 165 degrees, just warm enough to ensure safety, but not charred, since charring meats creates additional harmful compounds like heterocyclic amines, another known cancer risk. For maximum protection, pair this turkey with colorful slices of vitamin C-rich bell peppers or tomatoes on your sandwich. Scientific studies show that vitamin C effectively blocks the formation of harmful nitrosamines in your gut, creating a powerful, cancer-preventing synergy in every bite. Simple changes like these add years to your life, strengthen your independence, and protect your body's delicate tissues, reducing the risk of harsh medical treatments down the line. Worst meat number 3. Charred burgers and steaks.
Charred foods. You know that barbecue grill where you actually get these burnt ends, or the steak that you're actually on the skillet, and you wind up actually getting this nice char on it, okay? Be really, really, really careful. That char is a carcinogen, and it is composed of, we even know what's actually in it that makes it particularly dangerous. There's something called PAH, that's polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAH, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. And there's also something called heterocyclic aromatic amines, or HCAs. So PAH and HCAs, these are carcinogens, really, really nasty ones. So although those crispy burnt ends kind of like remind us of the barbecue, the fun times, I can tell you that those are the most dangerous parts of the meat to eat. So you've heard enough about like trying to cut down or cut out your red meat. Well, if you do eat red meat, from every angle, what you want to do is avoid the charred part, because that is carcinogen. If you have meat, just trim it off. That's what I would recommend that you do, right? I mean, think about it. When you're actually, if you have a piece of bread that's actually charred, you're going to cut that off or just toss it out. So don't eat those burnt ends.
Grilled steaks and burgers may taste delicious, but that tempting char hides a silent threat, especially dangerous if you're over 65. High-heat grilling creates harmful chemicals called heterocyclic amines, or HCAs. A comprehensive 2025 scientific review published by Food Chemistry states unequivocally that HCAs are clearly carcinogenic in human studies, directly linking these grilling byproducts to increased cancer risk. Here's a startling perspective. Grilling just 1/4 pound beef patty until it's charred and crispy can produce more HCAs than the doses given to lab rats to intentionally trigger cancer in research studies. And seniors face even greater danger, because as you age, your body's DNA repair systems slow down dramatically, allowing these carcinogens to cause greater cellular damage and significantly raise your risk of cancer. Stay tuned. Right after this, I'll share with you a simple icy marinade method, scientifically proven to slash HCA formation by up to 90%, making your next cookout safer without sacrificing flavor. Safe swap number 3. Slow-cooked grass-fed bison. Instead of conventional beef, choose grass-fed bison. Not only is bison naturally leaner and more nutritious, but it also cooks at lower temperatures, drastically reducing HCA formation. Clinical studies in the journal Nutrition Research confirms that grass-fed bison triggers significantly less artery inflammation compared to conventional beef, further protecting your cardiovascular health while reducing cancer risk. Here's exactly how you cook bison safely, while still delivering juicy, satisfying flavor. Season your bison steak or burger generously, then sear it quickly for just 30 seconds per side in a hot pan. Transfer it immediately to a 275 degf oven and cook gently until reaching an internal temperature of 145 degf. Crucially, let the meat rest for at least 5 minutes afterward. This rest period allows flavorful juices to reabsorb into the meat, eliminating any temptation to rely on harmful char for flavor. With these simple steps, you'll enjoy all the hearty flavor of steak or burgers, without the cancer-causing toxins. Worst meat number 2. High-fat pork, bacon, pork belly.
All right, next food we're going to talk about, bacon. Now, bacon's a big topic because we all love bacon. Almost everyone loves bacon. I mean, unless you're a vegan or a vegetarian. But let's admit it, even if you're a vegetarian or you're a vegan today, when you were a kid, you probably ate bacon and you probably loved it because bacon tastes great. So let's talk about bacon. What is bacon? Bacon is salt-cured pork. And that says it all. Curing, okay, is processing the meat, and using salt actually puts a lot of sodium in it. And that's really what makes it taste good. It's salty, it's cured. And bacon can be made with different cuts of meat from different parts of the pig. All right. The most common cut of the pig for bacon is the belly. All right. But you can make bacon from using different types of the pig as well. For example, in Italy, bacon can be made from the cheek, the jowl, inside of the jowl of the pig. It's called guanciale. All right. Absolutely tasty, super tasty. You ever made bacon with guanciale? Like it's wafer thin. That's very, very tasty. It tastes a little bit different because it's the jowl, not the belly. Then there's pancetta, another type of bacon made from the belly. Pancetta actually goes through this time-intensive curing process. It's also used in a lot of Italian meals. You'll find it on the recipe. Then there's prosciutto, which also is not cooked generally, but it's cured. And pretty much every meat eater likes this prosciutto, often served with melons and figs. And you eat it cured. They're at room temperature, not cooked. And then in Spain, there's also kind of a Spanish version called jamón, all right, made from a special kind of pig. That is also eaten cured, not cooked. Then there's lardo, which is actually just the cured fat on the back of the pig, back fat. All right, so these are different versions of a very similar thing that we associate with bacon. And I just wanted to walk you through that so that you know that bacon isn't just whatever you'd find in the packaged meat section of your grocery store. All right, but let's go back to breakfast bacon, the kind you'd get at the diner or maybe at a Sunday brunch that you might go to. The kind that's really tasty, but not healthy. All right, so I got to break it to you, but something that you probably already know. Bacon is tasty, but not healthy. And let me tell you why. Bacon is high in saturated fat. It's about 40% saturated fat. That's a huge amount of saturated fat. All right, and just 3 slices of bacon has 5 grams of saturated fat. That's about half of what's considered advisable by the American Heart Association for the whole day. All right. Bacon is also super high in salt. Now, too much salt in your body leads to high blood pressure. All right. Also called hypertension. You put a lot of salt in your blood, a lot of liquid gets drawn into your blood vessels. Now you've got your blood volume is high, and that actually causes wear and tear on your circulation. And then your arteries can get hardened. And then the blood pressure is going to be high because you can't relax the blood vessels quite as easily. And that's hypertension, very common in women as well as in men. And it is a silent killer. Hypertension, high blood pressure is a silent killer because you don't always feel it. All right. Most people don't feel when they're hypertensive. Some people do, but most people don't. And being hypertensive, which is actually putting strain on your circulation, the lining of your blood vessels, is increases your risk of stroke and heart attack. All right. It is really, really bad for your heart and for your brain. And again, when you have high blood pressure and you got a lot of salt, it damages the endothelial lining, that smooth lining that is inside your blood vessels. Here's your blood vessel. It's hollow in the middle. Blood goes through it. It's lined by a layer called endothelium. Think about like a saran wrap, a plastic layer inside, and it's really slippery. When it's healthy, it's slippery because it allows everything to flow right through. Like an ice skating rink, after the Zamboni, the ice cleaning machine runs over it. It's so smooth on an ice skating rink, you can throw a sweater on it and the sweater will glide all the way to the other end of the rink. All right, hypertension chops up the ice. It really damages that smooth layer lining inside it. And now your blood vessels are not only hardened, but they actually can stick to things. Things can stick to your blood vessels a lot easier. And that damaged endothelium is a setup for stroke and heart attack as well. So double damage when you have high salt and you have high saturated fats. Now the lipids from your bacon actually will likely stick to the side of the blood vessels, and now your blood vessels begin to narrow. All right. The other thing about high salt you need to know about it is that high salt stuns your stem cells. Your stem cells are naturally present in your bone marrow. They repair us from the inside out. Normally, if you got damage to that lining inside the blood vessels, guess what? Your stem cells get called out of your bone marrow like bees out of a hive, and they go and fix your damaged areas of your blood vessels. All right? They regenerate that lining. High salt stuns the stem cells. All right? It's like bludgeons them, knocks them on the head, brass knuckles. Now your stem cells groggy, not really sure what to do, and you're not actually repairing your blood vessels quite as well. That's not what you want. You're damaging one of your body's health defense systems for your circulation. Here's the other thing about bacon. Not only is it high fat, saturated fat, not only is it high salt, it's also a processed meat. Processed meats, I got to tell you, have a bad and deservedly bad reputation because they are classified by the World Health Organization as a Class 1 carcinogen. A carcinogen is a substance that causes cancer. All right. Class 1 carcinogens, tobacco, which we know causes lung cancer and throat cancer, asbestos, which we know causes a type of lung cancer in your chest, a chest cancer called mesothelioma. And guess what? Processed meats also cause different types of cancer, like esophageal cancer, stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer. You do not want to get pancreatic cancer. Very difficult, almost impossible to treat today. Colon cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer. All right. Now, what are some of the processed meats besides bacon? Hot dogs, sausages, commercial pepperoni, salami, basically deli meats, the stuff we grew up with, lunch meat. The lunch lady used to give it to us in a sandwich. All right. Those are all processed meats. Now, we don't understand exactly why they actually cause cancer. Some people say it's because of the nitrates or nitrites that are made from a factory that are poured in there for preservatives, for tastiness. But whatever it is, I can tell you that eating processed meats actually is not good for your health and actually increases your cancer risk. So in fact, a clinical study of 470,000 people looked at the intake of processed meats, including bacon, and found that for every 20 grams of increased processed meat that you eat, for every 20 grams, that's not a lot of meat, the 20 grams is about 2 bacon slices, all right? It increased the chance by 18%. So 2 bacon slices, 20 grams increases your chance of developing colon cancer by 18%. Now that's not one-off, like just eating 2 slices of bacon, but that's a habit, continuously eating that much bacon compared to people who don't eat bacon. That's actually what you need to be able to understand how to interpret that data. So compared to people who don't eat bacon, eating 20 grams of bacon and then another 20 grams of bacon, then another 20 grams of bacon increases your chance of developing colon cancer by 18%. All right. That is not something that you want to have happen to you, and it's completely avoidable by avoiding bacon. Now, here's another thing about bacon that makes it a problem is that when you cook bacon, you're frying it because so much oil comes out. You're essentially frying the bacon. And when you fry foods like bacon, it's generating, the chemical reaction from frying generates something called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, these are PAHs, all right? It's carcinogenic. And another carcinogen is called heterocyclic amines. Heterocyclic amines are HCAs, and they're generating AGEs, advanced glycation end products. And I'm just spelling these out to you because we know exactly what these chemicals are, and they are cancer-causing chemicals that in a lab, when you expose animals to polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, okay, to heterocyclic amines or to advanced glycation end products, they actually spark the development of cancer in animals. So when you fry bacon, you're causing some of these chemicals to be generated, and the darker and crispier you fry the bacon, the more of these heterocyclic amines you're actually generating into the bacon itself, right? So that's what I'm telling you, that dark bacon, you might even break off the burnt parts of it and eat the rest of it, but the rest of it also has these carcinogens that occur just by frying.
Few foods are more beloved yet secretly harmful than bacon and pork belly, especially as you age. Bacon delivers a dangerous quadruple hit: high levels of saturated fat, heme iron, nitrites, and smoke. Together, these create a storm of oxidative stress, DNA damage, and inflammation. Even cautious health analysts have bluntly labeled bacon as heart attack and cancer on a plate, underscoring its severe health risks, especially for seniors. Imagine this senior-specific catastrophe, facing future surgery where doctors must remove far more tissue than anticipated. Why? Because toxins stored deep in your body's fat deposits spread silently and rapidly, creating hidden damage that surgeons must aggressively remove. But don't despair, because the delicious smoky flavor you crave doesn't have to disappear from your diet. In just 20 seconds, you'll discover the tiny, inexpensive canned fish that you can safely eat for breakfast. Safe swap number 2, sardines or anchovies, eaten whole. Instead of fatty pork, Dr. Lee recommends swapping in small nutrient-packed fish, like sardines or anchovies. Large-scale research from Japan, involving over 80,000 adults, clearly shows that eating these small fish whole regularly significantly lowers cancer-related deaths, particularly among women. Their impressive omega-3 content, especially EPA and DHA, dramatically reduces inflammation, supports healthy arteries, and slows cancer growth. Here's exactly how you enjoy these little powerhouses safely and deliciously. Start by rinsing canned sardines or anchovies briefly under cool water to remove excess salt. For a creamy spread, mash them into fresh avocado and sprinkle lightly with smoked paprika, capturing the savory, smoky essence of bacon without the harmful fats or nitrites. Aim for 2 servings, about 3 ounces each, per week. This simple addition provides over 1 gram of EPA and DHA, scientifically proven to dampen tumor-promoting blood vessel growth, angiogenesis, effectively cutting off a cancer cell's lifeline, according to extensive studies. By adopting this easy swap, you protect yourself from cancer-promoting ingredients, reduce inflammation, and fuel your body with nutrients proven to prolong vitality and independence. Worst meat number 1, traditional smoked sausages and jerky. The worst meat on your plate, especially if you're over 65, is traditional smoked sausages and jerky. These popular snack meats pack a hidden double threat. The smoking process loads them with polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and curing introduces harmful nitrosamines. Together, these carcinogens dramatically elevate your cancer risk. Each spicy smoked link you enjoy could silently plant precancerous polyps deep within your gut. Dangerous growths that remain invisible until your next colonoscopy reveals them, possibly too late. But here's good news. There's a smoky, tender, satisfying alternative that actually helps your body fight cancer. Safe swap number 1, wild-caught salmon.
Omega-3 fatty acids. These are healthy fats that are found in fish and other types of seafood, as I'm about to show you. And this is the reason why it's good for you. Now, what does omega-3 do? Omega-3s are Mother Nature's natural anti-inflammatory substances. They also help to maintain healthy circulation. They assist the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelial cells, to be as healthy as possible so your blood can flow smoothly. They protect the stem cells that are in your body. We all have stem cells that are naturally found in our body, and these stem cells are important for tissue repair, regeneration, so we heal ourselves from the inside out. Omega-3s protect those cells to keep them as viable and vital as possible for regenerative healing. Omega-3 is also good for gut microbiome. They happen to be very good for gut health, keeping your healthy gut bacteria very happy. And that means it's good for your metabolism as well. The other thing that omega-3s do is help your immune system. So if you tally that list up of all the things that omega-3s do, that tells you why you want to actually eat seafood. Now, what are the best sources of marine omega-3 fatty acids? Well, you've probably heard about it, like tuna and salmon and oily fish. And it's true that marine fish are the best sources of omega-3s. Now, if you're a vegan, you can actually get it from plant-based sources as well, like chia seeds, but that's actually not directly omega-3s. That's from a precursor that your body has to metabolize, and you get a lot more omega-3s if you actually eat seafood, okay? Now, you've probably heard people say, eat lower on the food chain because the bigger fish have more likely to have heavy metals like mercury in them. And that's true. That's why you got to be careful about eating swordfish and tuna and some of these larger fish. But then people say, oh, eat really low in the food chain like anchovies and sardines and mackerels. Now, I actually happen to like sardines and mackerel, all right? But not everybody does. And here's the thing. Sardines and mackerel are not the only ways that you can get healthy omega-3s in seafood, okay? So salmon, the size of a deck of playing cards, has 1,565 milligrams of omega-3, all right? So that's 5 times more than what cod has. Cod has only 18% of what salmon has. So the question is, does cod have enough? And the answer is yes. Cod has enough omega-3s in it to give you a health benefit. All right, so that's a big surprise. Now, the other thing that omega-3s do is they help you burn body fat. And this is how cod has been studied to know, so we know that the smaller amount of omega-3s actually makes a difference. So this is a study from the University of Iceland where they studied 324 people and gave them either salmon, oily salmon with a lot of omega-3s, or cod, not oily, and much less, 5 times less omega-3s, to eat 3 times a week. That's not very much, for 8 weeks, okay? And what they did at the very end of the study is they measured the amount of weight loss that was there, and they also measured body fat. And here's what they found. The salmon eaters, not surprisingly, lost a good amount of weight. They lost about 15 pounds, okay, after 8 weeks of eating salmon. But the cod eaters also lost weight. They lost about 10 pounds in the same amount of time. 10-pound weight loss, improvement of metabolism, that's not bad. So even though cod has 5 times less omega-3s than salmon, it has enough to burn body fat and improve your metabolism. Now, I love to cook cod, and there's a lot of super easy ways to do it. So here's a practical tip from me to you. Easiest way that I can tell you how to cook cod. Get it in your seafood section or a fishmonger. All right, fishmonger is a purveyor that actually only sells seafood. All right, and you take it home, a little piece, you don't need very much, and you can bake or broil it in the oven. Just preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and while the oven is heating up, it's going to take a few minutes, all you do is you coat the cod with some flour and mix in a little bit of dried oregano, all right? Get a pan, like a cast iron pan, sear it, okay? Add a little bit of extra olive oil and sear it on each side, about 2 minutes on each side. You can add a little garlic if you want to give it a little more flavor. Then put that onto a baking sheet, squeeze some lemon onto it, and then the oven should be hot. Bake it till it's flaky. Just takes about 10 minutes on each side, and just take a fork and you can just check it and you can see it started to flake apart and you'll be done. That is the tastiest way for you to get healthy omega-3s that can light up your metabolism. All right. And there are lots of different ways of using cod in Mediterranean recipes. And you can actually look up more just by searching cod recipe and hit video on Google, and take a look at some YouTube videos of other people that actually know how to cook cod in healthy, easy ways. Okay.
Dr. Lee's top protein recommendation is wild-caught salmon, renowned for its powerful omega-3 fatty acids that actively block the growth of tumor-feeding blood vessels, a process known as anti-angiogenesis. For maximum benefits, simply brush salmon fillets with a blend of turmeric and olive oil. Turmeric further boosts genes that suppress cancer. Bake gently at 350 degrees for 12 minutes, avoiding any charring to eliminate harmful PAHs. Finish with a fresh squeeze of lemon juice, whose vitamin C adds even more cancer protection. This delicious swap keeps your meals flavorful and satisfying, while actively protecting you from cancer's hidden threats. Here are additional mini tactics to keep you protected, each one easy, fast, and powerful. First, try the icy marinade method. Marinate your meat in a chilled mixture of rosemary, garlic, and vinegar for just 30 minutes. These antioxidant-rich herbs are scientifically shown to slash the formation of cancer-causing HCAs by at least half. Next, always remember portion precision. Stick to the deck of cards rule, around 3 ounces per serving. Eating more protein than your muscles actually need, especially if you're less active, doesn't build strength. Instead, it feeds inflammation and can fuel cancer growth. Pay close attention to the temperature timer. Never cook your meats above medium heat, around 350 degrees, for more than 6 minutes per side. Research confirms that beyond this point, carcinogenic toxin levels skyrocket exponentially, causing hidden cellular damage. Practice smart freezer rotation. Label meats clearly with purchase dates. Eat fish first, then poultry, and finally red meats last. Fresher meats contain significantly fewer oxidized fats, reducing inflammation and cancer risk with every bite. For real-world proof, meet Margaret, age 71. She swapped her daily bacon and deli ham sandwiches for sardines and nitrate-free turkey. After just 6 months, her inflammation marker, C-reactive protein, plunged from a high-risk 9 mg/ml down to a safer 3 mg/ml. Her oncologist, impressed by the turnaround, postponed a previously scheduled chemotherapy escalation. Margaret calls her decision the meat switch that saved my summer. You may have some quick questions. Is all red meat bad? Not necessarily. Lean, grass-fed meats like bison or venison, cooked slowly at low temperatures, often show neutral or protective effects when eaten in moderation. What about plant-based meats? Proceed carefully. Many are heavily processed and high in sodium and additives, so always check labels closely. And smoked salmon? Yes, it's safe occasionally, especially cold smoked varieties prepared at lower temperatures. Balance these servings with fresh, baked salmon for best protection. To quickly recap the big picture: avoid processed deli meats, charred burgers and steaks, fatty pork belly or bacon, and traditional smoked sausages. Choose nitrate-free turkey breast, slow-cooked grass-fed bison, whole sardines or anchovies, and wild-caught salmon. Remember your cooking methods: low heat, antioxidant-rich herb marinades, and vitamin C-rich sides. Why does this work? These simple swaps eliminate carcinogens and add omega-3 fats that actively starve tumor blood vessels, shutting down cancer's lifeline. Now, imagine your next CT scan revealing no tumor progression. Picture your grandkids hugging you tighter at family gatherings, and feel the deep relief knowing future treatments could be gentler. All thanks to these 4 simple meat swaps on your plate. Take a moment right now and share this life-changing information with a friend over 65 who loves bacon more than their health. Then let us know in the comments, which swap will you try first?